So now the dust has settled on match week 3, anticipation slowly builds to that second debut of Ronaldo back in Manchester Red. What was your reaction when you first heard the news he was coming back?
Listen, I was shocked because all the talk had been it was Manchester City. So he was thinking, is this really going to happen? But the fact that he's come back to the Premier League, listen, it's huge for not just Manchester United, but for obviously the Premier League itself. Yeah. A global icon, superstar, someone who before he left was absolutely magnificent. We know he's 36 years old, but clearly hasn't slowed down. I think he got 36 goals last season. And I just think as the footballing population in this country, I mean, even if you're not a Manchester United fan, you can't help but appreciate this move because, as I said, he's an absolute superstar.
Of course he did. This is Ronaldo, after all. Passed his medical and the deal just set to go through. The fee will end up being around about the £20 million mark, which must be some kind of record for a 36-year-old. He comes back a more mature man, settled family man. He's got 4 children now and still, as Darren said, still banging in the goals. And Manchester United fans hugely expectant about his return.
And when can we see him back in the famous red shirt of United, Damien?
He's been penciled in to return here, fittingly, at home to Newcastle in a couple of weeks' time, at home to Newcastle United. That's what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer certainly expects. He's joined up with a Portugal squad for international duty, likely to get his 180th international cap during that international break. Portugal have games against Ireland and Azerbaijan. Don't put it past him to be on the score sheet again. That's what Ronaldo does. And yeah, that debut can't come too soon. That second debut, the second coming of Ronaldo at Old Trafford.
It was good to see him in the crowd as well at the weekend, sort of, you know where I'm coming from. Now look, you shared a football pitch with Cristiano Ronaldo in his first spell. What was that like, Darren?
Yeah, I remember one particular game at Spurs, we were 2-0 up at half-time at Old Trafford, all high-fiving each other in the dressing room. Yeah, we've done it. And he came out a completely different animal. He came out, he scored 2. We ended up getting beat 5-2.
Oh, wow.
But it was almost like he single-handedly said to himself, you know what, we're not losing this game. And I think that's the kind of winning mentality that he will bring to this Manchester United side. Of course, he's probably, even though he's still extremely fit, he obviously can't do the same kind of things he did before he left. But the fact that he brings that winning mentality, someone that's won absolutely everything, that's got to rub off from some of the youngsters and the players that are already there, because obviously one thing we know the last few seasons maybe is that Manchester United haven't won as many trophies as we used to see them do. But bringing someone back who is a proven winner and someone who wants to continue winning and competing at the highest level, that can only be a good thing.
Does he make them serious title contenders for you?
For me, no. No. For me, I think he's still arguably one of the best. But when I look at some of the other teams around them, like the Manchester City, I still think they're the favourites. You look at Chelsea bringing in Lukaku. Liverpool have got Van Dijk back, some of their key players back fully fit. I think, of course, he'll help. And listen, you can't rule out someone of his quality. But I still put them 3 teams ahead of them.
So you think United, with Ronaldo, could conceivably finish 4th?
Correct, yeah, I do. I really do.
You heard it.
You're shocked, aren't you?
There'll be a fair few people, no doubt, disagreeing with you. Get in on Darren on social media. But look, the big question is, and there are so many kind of questions yet to be answered since we knew he was coming, is will he get his number 7 shirt, which, of course, is being held by Edinson Cavani right now. Now that the squads are in, he can't get hold of that, so which number does he go for? The other big question, which I want to put to you, who does he come in for in that starting 11?
Well, this is the thing. You don't bring in someone of Ronaldo's quality and not start him. So, of course, he's not going to play from that. He's more evolved into a centre-forward now, hasn't he? So, again, what problems does that cause for Edinson Cavani, who was brilliant last season? All of a sudden, he's going to have to play kind of second fiddle to Cristiano Ronaldo. You've got Anthony Martial still there. Marcus Rashford, when he comes back from injuries. Arguably, the one who started off the season better at the lot has been Mason Greenwood. So, what happens to him? So, all of a sudden now, it's a good headache to have. But there are problems there concerning which team you start with.
And this is the Mason Greenwood, who everybody waxed lyrical about, because at 19, he's been simply sensational. First teenager since Robbie Fowler, I think that was back in '94, to score in his first 3 games of a league season. He is on fire. And this is an interesting one because, yes, he will be good for Greenwood off the pitch,
of course,
with his influence and leadership skills, but does Ronaldo come at the worst possible time, just when he's flying right now?
Potentially, but listen, all Mason Greenwood could do is doing what he's been doing, which is he's starting games, scoring goals, and making himself kind of undroppable. So at the minute, if you look at the way he started the season, and you look at the way Sancho, for instance, who they paid a lot of money for, Mason Greenwood has been better than him. So again, it looks like it's going to be Ronaldo down the middle, because I can't see any kind of scenario where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer brings him in and leaves Ronaldo on the bench. So Mason Greenwood is doing all that he can do, which is impressing on the pitch, getting his goals, winning Manchester United games, and then leaving that problem to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because of course, it is good having all this attacking talent, but it is a problem.
Yeah, and Damien, I'm sure you've bumped into a fair few United fans while you've been at Old Trafford. While Rashford has been on the sidelines, and according to Tim Sherwood on yesterday's Matchday Live, he said to me he thinks Rashford's actually plateaued, but Mason Greenwood has almost overtaken him in the way that he finishes his chances.
That's right, 3 goals in 3 games. He's started the season on fire, as you suggest. And I think, yeah, having Ronaldo around can only help his development. I mean, he's going to be playing and training and being in the dressing room alongside a legend of the game. He can only improve in that kind of environment. I saw on that list, actually, Robbie Fowler there. And I think in some regards, Mason Greenwood, I don't know what Darren thinks, reminds me slightly of Robbie Fowler, perhaps with a lot more pace. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. In terms of the natural finisher, I think that's where you look at Robbie Fowler and you look at certainly Mason Greenwood as well, in terms of Robbie, when he was a kid, every time he got half a chance, goal, goal. And Mason Greenwood seems to be the same, that it doesn't really matter if he's on the right-hand side or the left. He can seem to finish naturally with both feet. So, of course, I think he's a little bit quicker than Robbie Fowler, although Robbie Fowler was no slouch when he was a kid.
Yeah.
But Mason Greenwood certainly is in that mould of that kind of, even like a Van Persie type finisher, that kind of way he moves his body. So, in terms of natural goal scorers, yeah, them two are in the same bracket.
So Greenwood afterwards caught the headlines. In the build-up to the game, it was notable for Rafael Varane and for Jadon Sancho, the 2 other summer signings, as well as Cristiano Ronaldo. Both made their first league starts. What did you think of Varane?
I thought he looked comfortable. I think the first maybe half an hour where Wolves were brilliant in terms of the pace going forward. Adama Traore was unstoppable. I think anyone can stop him. But as the game kind of wore on, I thought him and Maguire had a good partnership. He looked comfortable, Varane, used his pace, his experience, got himself into the right areas, and he certainly impressed me on his debut. Jadon Sancho, maybe on the other hand, I'm still waiting for him to find maybe his best form. Obviously, we know the ability's there, we've seen it, but I'm still yet to see him, that kind of performance where I go, OK, that's why Manchester United paid the money. So we know it's in there. But again, as I said, with Ronaldo coming in now, Jadon Sancho, I know they've paid a lot of money for him, but his opportunities might dry up a little bit because, as you said there, unless he's going to play from the left, Martial's there, Ronaldo's there, Cavani, and that's a Mason Greenwood.
If you were Sancho and United said to you, we're going to go for Cristiano Ronaldo, would you have made the move to United?
Yeah, because arguably Manchester United is still one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Although you wouldn't have seen as much first-team action, possibly.
Potentially, yeah, but I think when you look at the big clubs, they've always strength and depth, they've got competition. And I think you look at their rivals, Manchester City, look at the strength and depth they've got up top, 6 or 7 players compete for 3 spots. So if Manchester United want to compete with Manchester City in terms of winning the big trophies, you're going to have to get as much attacking talent in as you can.
Interesting to see where it leaves Anthony Martial and Jesse Lingard. It's transfer deadline day tomorrow, August the 31st. We are getting reports, of course, Damien, that Dan James, who started the game at the weekend, could well be on his way. Leeds have been linked. What can you tell us?
Well, yeah, he's been in and out of the side. It was rather a surprise to see him selected in the first team at Wolves at the weekend, and it meant that Pogba had to push back into a sort of central defensive midfield position. Leeds have been linked with him for some time. Another club linked with him is Everton. They've got a couple of wide players in during the transfer window. So I think Leeds is probably quite a strong option. He's had to bide his time here, been in and out, made quite a good start to his Manchester United career, but he's never settled into the team and been a regular fixture. There's 1 or 2 who could be on the move as well. The likes of Phil Jones and Juan Mata are all sort of fringy players these days. So I think the movement out of Manchester United could be interesting come deadline day tomorrow.
And Damien, it would be nice to see you talk to Ronaldo for his second coming, because as I understand it, you interviewed him when he first arrived on these shores.
I did. He'd actually been here a while, and we caught up with him for another well-known broadcasting company that I've worked for in the past, ahead of an FA Cup final. And Ronaldo was the interview that we were going to do before the game. And the producer had been out to Madeira to meet his mum and recorded a message on tape. Basically saying to Ronaldo, good luck for the final, we're proud of you here in Madeira, we love you. And we played that tape back to Ronaldo in the course of our interview with him, and he was in floods of tears. He was overwhelmed by this message, and it was a little insight into what he's really like, because he's got this image as a sort of preening prima donna, and he's not like that at all. He's a dedicated professional, dedicated to reaching the top, but that was a little insight into what the man is really like. He's just a normal human being at the end of the day. It was a nice touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Damien, thanks very much indeed. Damien Johnson at Old Trafford. And that is something that needs to be said about Ronaldo, isn't it? Because for all the image and everything that, he does look brilliant. And you almost know that he knows that. But he's a team player as well, isn't he?
He certainly looks like he's obviously the kind of the model teammate, as you said there. It's not all about him, of course. Look at his goals and his stats, and obviously throughout his career, he's been the one that's kind of carried pretty much whatever team he's been in. But you look at when you hear his teammates speak about him, and even if you go back to the Euros with Portugal, where a couple of the players maybe were unsure about taking a penalty, and he was the one getting them up saying, come on, you're good enough, you're more than good enough, you're good penalty takers. And I think he's not just, as I said, a world-class, one of the best ever to do it, I think he's a world-class leader as well.
Yeah. OK, from the red of Manchester to the red of Arsenal after the break here on Headline Makers, to an issue which will be close to Darren's heart. Arsenal are in crisis right now. We'll be talking about them when we come back.